Does anybody notice that looks like a nail mark? That looks like a fingernail mark. Cut right there. Maybe had 9, 10 days to heal up. I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. Could there have been two of them? I don't know. Could there have been just one? Maybe. I mean, it's is it a coincidence that this guy also has some kind of something wrong with his lip? Is Dominic, like JLR said, Dominic Evans? He believes it's DE. Is Dominic Evans Carlos? Very interesting. Carlos does have some errors on him. Compared to right there's his error. Let's pull out of here. what I find weird is in this photo, look at a forehead too, big giant forehead. In this photo, he's got hair, even on the sides. The other guy, his head is shaved up, real tall. It could be the same guy. And Carlos is Dominic, aka Heavy Grinder in some kind of heavy metal band or something. Because why would this guy, who is supposedly supposed to be Dominic from Torso's band, or Tasso, whatever his name is, that's this guy. Because he's seen in photos with Torso. Right? That's what they're saying. But when was that photo taken? In 2007, 8, 9, 10? It's 2026. We might be looking at the same guy. What's the chances the same guy's got lip problems in the same place? I mean, what's the chances? Got that same mark right here on his lip. Well, if we go over here to Carlos's photo, he's got the same mark right there. Now, what is that? I mean, are we going to say maybe possibly photo opt, but the same two dudes have the same mark on the lips? Same lips, same. People change over time. Maybe he filled in weight. Maybe he shaved his 12 days. You have to remember they're Hispanic. They grow hair like they can shave, and by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, they look like they never shaved. So, that's kind of weird, though. These people are all innocent until proven guilty. But what is the coincidence of the same two people having the same mark on their lips there? I mean, that's pretty interesting. Same mark. The ears look different from Dominic and Carlos, but in the photo we're seeing of Dominic, if that's his name, he's got a full head of hair, real high forehead. This guy shaved all the way up. So if Dominic shaved his hair, would it look like that? It probably would. If he shaved his head up, it probably would expose his hair more. I mean, and this guy does have the build, I would say, of the guy. Maybe that's pretty crazy. But what's the chances of two people having the same mark on their lips? Doppelganger, maybe? I don't know. I mean, come on. What's the chances of two other guys having the same mark on their lips as The guy in the ski mask. Same somewhat eyes. Maybe it was both of them. Maybe there was two of them. Because Carlos's right eye looks like somewhat of the mask guy. But then Dominic has the left eye that looks more shaped, the upper eyelid, as mask guy. I mean, this is confusing. But there it is. You can't make this stuff up, folks. There it is. How do two different guys have the same marks on their lips? Well, actually, three. All right, let's watch a video real quick.
Get tax expertise without hidden fees. Switch to a TurboTax expert for $150. Say bye to fees and match with a trusted expert to handle your taxes. All forms, all returns, all tax situations. $150, all.
We begin this morning with a Fox News alert. Overnight, police releasing a man after detaining and questioning him in connection with the abduction of Nancy Guthrie.
Yeah, this is crazy. Oh, are you kidding me? Come on. This is just crazy.
Just a few hours ago, local and federal officials completing a court-ordered
Here we
search
go. Oh, you gotta be kidding.
at a home in Rio Rico, Arizona, which is about an hour away from Guthries' Tucson home and 15 miles from the U.S.-Mexican border.
So all of this is developing after the FBI released a newly recovered video of an...
Winter might be the smartest time to build, especially this year. Through February, FBI Buildings is offering more winter building special options than ever before.
screw that. Trying to watch that video through all them ads and everything. That is just nuts. All right, let's check this other video. Get out of here with that crap.
Hesitant or reluctant to post videos about certain updates. Because, look, let me just be totally honest with you all. I am not buying a lot of the ish that they are trying to sell us here. I think a lot of what we're seeing is complete BS. And even though I've been covering this case, when it comes to a lot of these updates, I haven't had really anything nice to say. I don't want to sit down and just criticize law enforcement for an entire video. But also, I can't sit down and just bite my tongue. And I've been telling you that I've been biting my tongue since the beginning of this case. But I do not do a good job of doing that. I like to say how I feel, even if it's not popular. So I just wanted to put out this video going over some of my issues that I have thus far with the Nancy Guthrie case, so I can proceed in my coverage of the case, you know, knowing that I got this stuff off of my chest. Because biting my tongue just does not work out for me. And I'm not here to offend anyone. I'm not here to be overly critical, but I have to be honest with myself and my viewers. So,
Yo, Miss Debbie, what's up?
why do I have such an issue with what's been going on in the Nancy Guthrie case? Let me lay out a few reasons as to why. Number one, the security footage that they released, I believe, what was it, like 2 days ago now? The first look that we got at the suspect in front of Nancy Guthrie's home. I'm assuming the footage was from the Ring doorbell camera, or I guess it's a Nest camera. I don't believe for 1 second that it took them 10 days to.
All right. I also want to say that there is a photo of Carlos. And when he's talking to the reporters, he's holding his hand like that. Now, I don't know if that's a coincidence, okay? I don't know if that's a coincidence, but how does 3 people have the same mark on their face, on their lip? How does the mask guy, how does Carlos, that's Carlos, the guy they just picked up. What's that right there on his lip? That mark. All right. What's on Dominic's lip? Let's take a look at Dominic. What's on Dominic's lip? Yeah. That same marking. Right? And now let's take a look and see what's on the masked man's lip. That same marking right there. Interferes kind of with his mustache. Now how does that appear in 3 different people? Is this some new thing where people are getting the same scar or marking in the same spot on their lips of the mustache? I mean, is that crazy? I don't know. Is it a scam? Right now, Carlos and Dominic can sue the government for harassing them or whatever. I don't know. But how does 3 people get the same markings on their lips and have similar eyes? I don't know. That's crazy. And ears. Debbie, if you would like to explain that. Feel free. 3 people with the same markings on their lips. Same, similar eyes and ears. I don't know how 3 cloning. They must be cloning people. And there's that mark right there on the lip, interfering with what? His mustache. His hair ain't growing there. Now that's crazy enough, because that's the same thing that Mask Man has. And this is Carlos. And Carlos has a mark on his lip. But wait a minute. Remember, JLR is saying it's DE. It's DE. Dominic Evans. Wait a minute. Let's check. What's that? The same mark on the lip. Now, how does 3 people have the same mark on their lips? It looks like at one time Dominic did have a mustache or a 5 o'clock shadow. But how does that happen, ladies and gentlemen? Can you explain that to me? Is Dominic Carlos? Is Carlos Dominic? Interesting. Now, which one has the fuller lips? Well, there's Carlos. Oh no, this is Dominic. Now let's look at Carlos's lips. Oh, there's Carlos, real thin. I think Debbie said yesterday he's got thin lip. I thought you were talking about Thin Lizzy, the rock band, but she said nope, thin-lipped. Well, he's got a thin upper lip, but here you gotta remember, time has gone by. He might have lost weight. He might have put on weight. Very interesting. When Carlos is talking, he's talking with his hand cupped up like this, like we're seeing. Let me switch over. Like we're seeing right here. In this right here, where he goes to try and cover the camera. Look at how his hands are when he's walking closed like that. Let's look at his hands here. You see that? You see how he's walking with his hand? I don't know. We're going to have to keep an eye on these boys for a while. How does 3 people have the same markings? Then again, I have to remember, we're dealing with news companies, people who have access to programs, to photo op stuff and do stuff. So how much of this is real, we don't know. So do you think maybe Dominic could have an AKA Carlos, or was Dominic his stage name and his real name was Carlos? I'm just asking, Miss Debbie. Now, did Carlos always have his hair like that? Or just recently did he shave the side of his head? I mean, these are things you need to talk to people around him. Has he been wearing his hair like that for a long time? Or did he just shave it like that a couple days ago? Was his soul patch? Well, like I said, he's got 12 days. He could have let his beard fill in and trimmed it a different way. Yeah. Yeah, they just talked to him, what, yesterday? A couple days ago? So there was like, what, 9 days went by? I don't know about you guys, but if I shave within a couple of days, I have to shave, or it's already coming in. So who knows? We don't know. Like I said, these people are innocent until proven guilty. This guy looks younger. You mean Carlos? This is Carlos. But how could Carlos and Dominic and the masked man have the same markings on their lips? Not unless they were swapping spit with the same woman and got the same mark on the same, I don't know. Maybe they were swapping spit with each other. Sickos. Well, I wish you would explain this to me, Miss Fox. Fox Mulder. Ain't it crazy? They still have his phone, so this ain't over yet, folks. They have Carlos's phone. Miss Debbie Fox, I would love for you to explain all this to me. Miss Debbie Fox, I want to ask you your expertise. What does that look like to you? In the corner of his eye on his upper eyelid. To me, that looks like a fingernail mark. That's what it looks like to me. Do you see it, Miss Debbie Fox? Put your glasses on, sweetie. Put your glasses on. The upper, the rewound or reward, which means that don't have anything. What does that look like in the corner of his eye right there? Does that look like a fingernail mark right there? Right there up in the corner of his eye? Excuse me. I'll be. Don't it look like he plucked his eyebrows up here maybe a little bit? Right there, it looks like a fingernail mark right in the corner of his eye right there. Fresh fingernail mark. And the reason I said it was a fingernail mark is because I went ahead and pulled back the photo to see if his other eye, because things usually match, right? On people's faces. And you don't see that real dark. You see it, you can see it as plain as day. Fingernail mark right in the corner of the eyeball. And he don't have that mark or skin overlap on this side. And that's why this channel is probably number one. Probably one of the best channels on YouTube. Debbie Fox says no. Well, put your glasses on there, Sweet Pea. Put your glasses on, Sweet Pea. No, the fingernail mark. Do you see it on the other side of his eye? No. You don't see no skin overlap or anything. But on his right eye, right up here in the corner, underneath his eyebrow, that is a fingernail mark or a cut or something. Wow. Let's zoom in on that, Debbie. I want you to get your glasses on, girl. He does have his eyebrows, though. Yeah, but Debbie, you have to remember, 12 days have gone by. Can you regrow? Can Hispanics regrow an eyebrow from thin to bushy in 10 days? Hold on, Deb. I'm going to zoom in. Hold on, Deb. I'm going to zoom in. You hold your little sweet horses there. See, he don't have this mark on the other side. See, I thought it was skin overlap, but that's a cut. That's a cut or a fingernail mark. You see that? Plain as day. Oh, my little ma Debbie sent me a message saying, put your glasses on, Johnny. I'm telling you to, woman. Well, you're blind. That's why you have glasses, little lady. I can see it plain as day. Plain as day. Fingernail mark. Now, see, this eye, his right eye, looks similar to what we're seeing in the photo of the mask guy. But it's crazy because Dominic has the right eye. I don't know. This is crazy. Is Dominic Carlos? Is Carlos Dominic? I don't know. We don't know. Debbie, I want to also ask you if you can see this. Can you see that mark on his lip? And you can see his teeth in this photo. And I think there is something, his part of his teeth showing in the one with the mask. I can't see fingernail marks. I know he uses electric shavers on his eyebrows, though. Maybe. Can you see the mark on his lip? Right where my mouse pointer is? You see that? Can you see that, Deb? You see that mark right there on his lip? I did. I looked at two, but this was the best one to go ahead and zoom in on because I had to download it and then zoom in on it. And this was the best one that showed this side of his face, Debbie. So, and that's what you got to do in your face comparing. I don't think it's Tomoso or whatever his name is, because he's got a big beard always, right? I mean, we might have we there's a good chance we would have seen that beard sticking out big time in the through the ski mask, you know. And I think he's a lot taller and stockier. Debbie, what other picture? You got another picture of this guy? I know you don't think it's these guys, these three. Well, at least two. Very interesting, Debbie. Well, if anything, Debbie, how does this guy, Carlos, who was the guy that was picked up, how does this guy, Carlos, Debbie, if I may ask you, little Debbie, how does this guy, Carlos, how does Carlos all right, this is Carlos's lip. How does Carlos have that mark? And then we go over to Dominic's. And Dominic has that same mark on his lip right there. How does that happen? They must be cloning people, Debbie. Or they're sleeping or kissing. Maybe they were kissing cousins or something, Deb. That looks like a pimple. In the same place as Carlos, as the same place as the masked mad bandit, this guy has a birthmark. I don't know. I don't want to know his birthmark. How's all three of them have the same marks? That's what I can't figure out. I mean, it's kind of crazy. People change over time because we have no idea when that photo of supposedly Dominic was taken. People change over years. People heal. They get medication. They change. But how does that same mark end up on all three of the people? It's just, I don't know. It's crazy. Let me see. Debbie is saying his mouth is all messed up. He got a messed up grill. Well, maybe we're all looking bad these days. I don't know. See that photo of Dominic might have been taken in 2010 or whatever. Over time, scars don't heal. They don't go away. Blisters, pimples, they go away. Scars in the same spot, that if it's a scar, like right here. Wait, let me show you. Right here. My mouse hand or whatever it is going around it. That little mark right there. Even if it was, people are saying, oh, he had herpes over. Okay, then it's a scar from herpes. All right. But that scar don't go away. It stays there. Now, is it a coincidence that all three of them? I don't think it's herpes. It's probably, who knows, maybe a fight, maybe a rash, who knows. And it left a scar. Maybe he scratched it, maybe whatever, and it left a scar. But on all three of the same people, I don't know. You know, at the time of this photo, Debbie, hold on a minute, Miss Fox, his lips look a little bit fuller, don't they? Well, they might be swollen because back in 2007 or 10 or whatever, either he got in a fight or he's got some kind of complex. Did you see the new photos out on Brian Epstein, Debbie? And his lips all swollen and bumps all of them. They were saying he had some kind of disease, sexual disease. Lips were all swollen and shit. It's crazy. Giant bumps on them and everything. It's not a Sam. It's not the same. Oh, you mean not the same? Debbie is saying, look at his bottom lip. Yeah, right here, the bump. He's got a bump right there. It looks like maybe this guy's got a birthmark or something, you're saying, Debbie, or 3 bumps right here. And then a bump here on his lip. Yeah, I see what you're saying right down here, Debbie. That's what you're saying, right? Right in this area, right down here on his lower lip. It's huge. Yeah, I see it right here. Yeah, but when was this photo taken, Debbie? People heal. People heal. What don't heal is scars. Whether this is a pimple scar or a kissing scar or herpes, whatever these people are saying. It's a scar. It don't go away. This bump goes away, but this scar don't. I don't know. It's crazy, Debbie. Debbie, help us. Help us, Obi-Wan Debbie Fox. You're only help. You're only help. Yeah, I see you're saying, Debbie. He's got a big bump on his lower lip on the right side. Help us, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're only help. Yeah, I know, Debbie. On the bottom lip, can you hear me? On his bottom lip on the right side of his face, if you're looking at him, it would be, as we're looking at it, on the left side of the bottom lip, there's a red bumpy mark. I am tired of looking at these men's mouths. Well, this is part of solving crimes, Miss Fox. What do they call it? Forensic evidence. All right, Debbie, let's look at it. You don't want to look at their mouths? Okay, let's look at their eyeballs. There's the eyes of Carlos. Okay, picture that, Debbie. Put that picture in your head. These are Carlos's eyes. Look at this eye over here, because we're going to see this pretty good. Now let's check out Dominico's eyes. There's Dominico. All right, Debbie, you see them eyes? You see them eyes? Wow. Horrifying. All right, now let's take a look one more time at the masked ranger. His eyeballs. And there's the masked man's eyeball sockets. He has better skin. Mouth. Which one, Debbie? Dominic or Carlos? The one in the blue shirt that we've been showing is Carlos. The one that's in the photo next to this masked man is Dominic. Carlos. Okay, well, this is the face of the ski mask guy. So if we go over here, look at these eyes, look at these eyes, look at these eyes, Debbie. Look at these eyes, look at these eyes, look at these eyes. Now, let's go over real quick to Carlos. And there is Carlos's eyes, Debbie. And I don't care what you say, Miss Fox. I think this is a nail mark. I think this right in the corner up here, right up here, is a nail mark. Like somebody tried to dig their nails into his eyeball. Why didn't they swab that? Did he realize that if we do find Mrs. Guthries, there's a good chance that she's got that skin underneath her fingernails? Debbie, can you hear me? Check 1, 2. Carlos, the younger guy. Well, how old is Carlos, Debbie? Yeah, he looks like Dominic. Yeah, they both look the same. So is Dominic. Really, Carlos. and his stage name was Dominic. You'd be shocked how many guys are on stage that's not their real names. Yeah, that's a fingernail mark. You heard it here first, folks. On Johnny Kramer's music, movie, crime, DIY channel. Very interesting. Now, folks, these people are innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. But something ain't floating. And usually I found out the hard way. Hope floats. So does crap. And that's what we might be saying. Debbie, what do you think? Let's go to Debbie in the field. Miss Debbie, what are you thinking? Give us your thoughts. We'd love to hear them. Let's see if there's anything else. Let's play a little bit of the Shogun.
Very concerning, because the whole point of having footage like that is so you could quickly access it. So I don't believe it took them 10 days, although maybe it did. But if they had that footage sooner, why would they wait so long to release it? Now, I understand that law enforcement and FBI isn't going to give us all the evidence they have. No one has to explain that to me. This is not my first rodeo. But if you have the public out here looking for a suspect, it would help if you give the public an idea of what the suspect may look like. So I understand there are some details that they need to keep close and not talk about, but there are other details that they definitely need to release. All of this mysteriousness, a lot of it is totally uncalled for. So if they had that footage, why did they sit on it for so long? Did they want to trick whoever kidnapped Nancy into thinking that they didn't have footage of her captor? Did they not want to let whoever did this to Nancy know that they had that footage? Or let's think about this. Because of everything, all of the crazy stuff going on in the Nancy Guthrie case, we have to blow past this, but this is a cause for concern as well. Nancy was not paying her subscription for her doorbell camera. Nancy's doorbell camera should not have been working or recording. It was not set to record. She had not even paid the subscription fee. But guess what? That camera was recording anyway. So were they reluctant to show us they had video footage of this suspect because they know that it would open up a bigger conversation of, oh, wait, why are these cameras recording when they're supposed to be not working?
All right, this is the first image that was sent to me. Now, if you look in this image, there is no gun. There is no backpack. The second image I got, the guy had a backpack on. Then he disappears again. And then he comes back and now he's got the gun. So, and he's got a flashlight in his mouth and stuff. So what are we dealing with here? What are we dealing with when the guy walks up? Excuse me. He ain't got none of this crap on but a ski mask and gloves. Now, they did talk about a DoorDash driver. They did talk about Amazon. You know, I don't know. Is it possible that the whole time that they were scoping the place out as they were delivering packages or delivering food or whatever, did she deliver food a lot? Or was this somebody delivering food to one of the neighbors and you got them on camera? Right? I mean, that's not hard to solve. Well, there's DoorDash in that area. All right. Did she ever get DoorDash? Look at her receipts. Look on her social media. If not, who got DoorDash all the time? Okay, when's the last time she got a package from Amazon or FedEx or whoever? Look in the area. See if you see a guy at other places delivering packages and stuff. Maybe the band wasn't working out too good and they just weren't making enough money, so they had to get second jobs. Maybe wouldn't hurt to check. Let me see what Debbie is saying. Carlos does not have a belly. Either does this guy. Why do I say that? Because now they're saying that there's something underneath his jacket. That he's got something underneath his jacket right here. It makes him look like he's got a belly, but he don't. And if they ask me, is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. It's possible he's got the backpack in or underneath his jacket. I don't know. Let me see what Debbie's saying. This dude looks like he has a small alien in his stomach. Well, maybe. I think we all have been impregnated, maybe, possibly, by these aliens, Debbie. I think you're right. It looks round. I know that's because there's something in it. That's because there's something underneath his jacket. I think he wanted to make it appear like he was one man, right? He was trying to make it appear like there was a lot of guys around there. And it's possible it's the same guy. He's just making it look like there's other people, right? Because he comes walking up, he has no backpack, no gun, and then he walks away, and then he comes back, and he's got a backpack on with reflectors, acting totally different. That would be like trying to make someone think there's someone else there that's acting different than the first guy that came there. And then he leaves and he comes back and he's got a gun. And he acting all different and everything. So maybe this one guy acting like maybe three different guys, maybe. Wow. I said this, Debbie. You heard it here first on Johnny Kramer's news channel. Miss Fox, let us know what you're thinking. She says it looks round. His belly. Who said this? Who said this? Who said you?
Did they?
If you're missing 5 or more teeth, this might be the most important 30 seconds of your day.
Were they kind of afraid to let the cat out of the bag? Hey, everyone, even if your Ring doorbell camera is turned off, set to not record, even if you don't pay the money, it's still recording anyway. Were they reluctant to release that video footage because it would open up a broader conversation about the invasion of our privacy here in this country? And it really makes me think about that Super Bowl commercial that they had, where they're like, hey, did you lose a dog? Your Ring doorbell camera can find lost dogs. So I'm wondering if they were hesitant to release the evidence because they know that by releasing the evidence, they're kind of admitting that, hey, we're spying on you through your broken Ring doorbell cameras. So that was a major issue for me. And I didn't want to all the way dive into that because, look, I know there's a lot going on in this case, and I don't ever want to be insensitive. I want to be as respectful as possible to the Guthrie family. I want to be as respectful as possible to the law enforcement officers that are out here working this case. But I got some things to say. So next up, TMZ. I think it's time to tell TMZ to screw all the way off. And I'll tell you right now, I am not a TMZ hater. I know a lot of people have issues and problems with TMZ. TMZ breaks news stories all the time. I do not have a vendetta or a personal grudge against TMZ. When they first came out talking about the ransom note, I thought it was BS, but it was worth looking into. And it seemed like law enforcement was taking it very seriously. The media could not stop talking about it. And then we started getting videos from Savannah Guthrie and her siblings. And I feel like the media strung us along in a way that kind of led us to believe that there may have been some interactions between the people who sent the ransom letters and Savannah Guthrie's family. Like, they didn't come out and really tell us anything solid, but I feel like we were kind of led to believe that there was a ransom note. Savannah puts out this video, and then there's another ransom reply, and then they're kind of negotiating, sending the money. So I feel like in a way we were led to believe that there was.
The FBI released something saying that they had no idea that they were communicating. And they don't believe the family was communicating anymore with anybody. So, yeah, I agree. Let's see what Debbie Fox says. She agrees 100% with them. Yeah, I agree with them. You know, what the heck is going on? Yeah.
More movement going on when it comes to the ransom than what was really happening. Because in reality, there was never any interactions. There was never any back and forth between the people who sent the ransom letters and the Guthries. There were never any conversations, any emails, messages exchanged, nothing. Nothing.
Wow, Cinema Shogun saying there was nothing sent. Right? They didn't know about anything. The government didn't know anything. The family wasn't talking with anybody. You know what I think? I think that if there was real communication and this was real, the FBI would have told the family, don't do anything until we tell you to. And the FBI would be watching every little move and message from the family to whoever this person was, any videos going out, anything like that, the government would be wanting to watch and be a part of it. So therefore they might be able to track a signal, an email, something like that. So it don't make sense. Wow, it's crazy, Debbie. Debbie Fox is saying there wasn't a kidnapping. Oh, Debbie, you could be right. That would mean she would have never came home that night. Interesting. Or this happened way before last night or the night before or 9 days ago. And the whole thing. Now, a lot of people are saying they seen a phone in the guy's pocket. Now, I got a question for you folks. What if, I'm just saying, what if Mrs. Guthrie never came home that night, but someone went to her house? Why? To put the iPhone there and the phone, to make it ping there, to show that she was there that night. Oh, I got to do everything on this country's thing. Let's get back to this video.
But we were kind of led to believe that there was. And then Savannah comes out and puts out a video saying they're willing to pay the ransom. And it really feels like we were being strung along for no reason, when in reality, there was probably nothing ever to these ransom notes. Even though it felt like there was, because law enforcement, like as soon as a ransom note would come in, law enforcement would travel right back to Nancy's house or to Annie's house. And I feel like we were sold the impression that that there was something more to the ransom than what there was. Now, yesterday, TMZ Harvey Levin comes out once again saying, oh, we got a new letter. And this time they're demanding 1 Bitcoin in exchange for information about Nancy's kidnappers. And it's like, that doesn't even make sense. If someone had information about Nancy's kidnappers, they could just collect the $50,000 reward that is out there. Why would they have to scam for 1 Bitcoin sent to a secret address in exchange for secret information about her kidnappers? So once I saw that, I knew that was complete BS. The other ransom notes I thought were probably BS as well, but this latest note, oh, if you give me 1 Bitcoin, we'll tell you information about her captors. That's obviously BS. But Harvey Levin and TMZ, they were all over the news again, doing the rounds, talking about that latest letter. And that really solidified it for me that, yeah, this is all BS. TMZ needs to screw off. And Harvey Levin, he's been on all of the news. He's been on every news station looking concerned, when in reality, I think he just wants to distract from the fact that he is in the files, okay? He was actually described as a good friend of Epstein in the files that could help Epstein with public relations. So I find it odd that as the Epstein files are coming out, here we have Harvey Levin on every news station distracting people, telling, oh, we got all of these Nancy Guthrie ransom letters. They're demanding this, they're demanding that. Every 2 or 3 days, there's a new letter sent to TMZ. BS. I'm over it. Time to push that to the side, if you ask me. Now, maybe there still is something to the ransom notes, right? Anything is possible. But I think I've seen enough to kind of like, yeah, please just get out of here. I don't know if you want attention. I don't know if you want publicity, or if you're just trying to distract from the fact that your name's all over the files. I don't know what Harvey Levin is doing, but I'm...
Oh, boy. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, Harvey, I guess, was in the old files and everything. Oh, boy. Well, let me get my chat's viewpoint on this. No, I'm not sending you a Bitcoin, Valdez. What do you think? I'm rich? Debbie says it's a Hollywood movie. Shh. Debbie says they saw it in his pocket. Yes, they said it was a phone, that it was the kidnapper's phone. But I'm saying, what if it was Miss Nancy Guthrie's phone, and the phone had to be returned to the house? Why? To show that she was there. To show that the phone and the Apple Watch was there. So when it checked in, it showed beep, she's there, her phone's there. Someone had to go back with the phone. It's possible. It's possible. Let's get back to see what Cinema Shogun is saying. Debbie says it's all a movie. Nothing to see here, folks. How did they see that? I don't know how they seen it. Well, Cinema Shogun is saying that the camera was shut off. It was, but it still records. The account was shut off. It was, but it still records. From what he's saying. So even though you don't have an account, the camera's still recording. Now, Cinema Shogun is saying that this is a way for them to keep track of us. Well, you have to ask yourself, would it bother me? No, I don't think it would bother me. I don't think it would bother me. Because in case something like this happened, at least they would know. Oh, he didn't have his cameras on. Well, his camera was on, but he didn't pay his account. Well, it was still recording, and this is what they didn't see. Some of these apps will alert you. Somebody's outside. Somebody is walking around, and then you want to check it out, but you can't because your account's not up to date. But all you know is somebody is walking around outside your property, but you can't access the footage. Oh, God. Hold on. I made a chicken sandwich. Let me get a bite. Oh, what the heck? I got jizz all over my jacket just now. Catch up. All right, let me see what Debbie Fox was saying. Cash extracted her. Yeah, Cash Patel probably went in before anybody got there and pulled Miss Guthrie out of there. It makes sense. Or are you talking about he extracted the footage? Yes, the footage. He extracted the footage. Probably Cash Patel was like, went to the security place or the app place and said, we need that footage. Yes, I agree with you, Debbie. Yes. 100%. I got people trespassing on me. Hold on. Doing magic on me. All right, let's continue to watch this video.
Over it. And let's not forget about Carlos. How could we forget about Carlos? Poor Carlos. The other night, I was getting ready for bed. I was really tired, and then the news broke that someone was detained in the Nancy Guthrie case. So I quickly started getting dressed, and then as I was getting dressed, something hit me, and I was like, you know what? I think this is BS too. I think that almost everything that we've been sold so far is kind of BS to drag us along, to keep us focused on this soap opera, if you will, right? So I said, you know what? I'm not even going to sit down and record a video. I'll get to that in the morning. And guess what? 3 or 4 hours later, I wake up, I look at my phone, and turns out they detained the wrong guy. Turns out Carlos is totally innocent. It had nothing to do with anything. Yet they busted him. They took him in. They ran into his house, searched his house. What? 3 or 4 hours later, I wake up, I look at my phone, and turns out they
There's another photo of Carlos holding his hands weird as he's talking to the camera with his thumb tucked in like on the camera, on the video, Debbie, of the, oh my God, of him walking up to the door. He's got his hand like that with his thumb over his hand. And this is crazy. Debbie, how does this happen? Can you explain this to me, little lady, please? I would really appreciate it.
It came to the wrong guy. Turns out Carlos is totally innocent. It had nothing to do with anything. Yet they busted him, they took him in, they ran into his house, searched his house, all types of stuff. His abuela, his mom, I don't even know who the lady was, is out here talking to the news saying we don't even know what the hell is going on. Once again, dragged along. Oh my God, they got the guy. He's detained. Everyone, let's focus on the Nancy Guthrie case. Turns out to be nothing. Didn't this just happen with like the Brown University shooting not that long ago? If I'm not mistaken, I didn't cover that case, but I do remember that happening, right? So look, why in the hell would law enforcement make such a bold move on someone that's totally innocent? You would think that they would have certain evidence piled against the guy before.
Aha, Miss Debbie Fox. Miss Debbie Fox says Carlo has a gut on him, bigger and everything. That's true, but what I'm saying is there's a good chance that Carlos is Dominic. Dun, dun, dun. Now, what I'm also saying, look at the way Dominic is holding, or Carlos here, in the blue shirt. Look at Carlos holding his hand up, talking. What's he doing? What's he doing? He's holding his hand just like what is in the camera where he's trying to block the cam. Dun, dun, dun. Debbie Fox says Carlos is too thin to be mask guy. Well, not if you got jackets on underneath and ski mask on and a couple layers of pants or whatever. Maybe. It's very interesting. I'll continue watching.
Before they make that move, before they're busting in his house, searching through his stuff, detaining him and questioning him, he doesn't even know what the hell is going on. So it's like you would think that law enforcement wouldn't make moves like this unless they know for sure, unless they have solid evidence. But now that guy's, I don't want to say his entire life is ruined, because maybe, a few years from now, people will forget. But his face was plastered all over the internet. You know how the internet is. The internet went crazy. Before we even saw his face, they had like 4 different wrong people on the internet that they were blaming. Then they got his picture, spread his picture. Everyone's talking about how evil he is because he kidnapped an 84-year-old. Turns out he's just like an innocent DoorDash driver or something.
Is he the DoorDash driver? Because in the video I seen, I thought he said he's Amazon or something like that. So is he the DoorDash driver? Interesting. Can we see Carlos delivering to other people out there and see what his gait is and how he walks and everything? I mean, he looked kind of funny when he came out of his house. Boy, he looked kind of weird. He was bending over. He was doing all kinds of stuff. Carlos. But you know what? Cinema Shogun. This game is not over, my friend. You know we've seen this so many times where they catch and release and they watch. You remember the Delphi case? You remember that? Cinema Shogun? Where they, 12 days after the murder, they picked up Keegan Kline, but they took all his information, data, his phone, and they released him. And they watched him. And then he took off to Vegas. And then they brought him back from Vegas. Interesting. Let's continue to watch this video. Debbie Fox says Dominic isn't older than this guy, and Carlos has better skin. Well, Mrs. Fox, I didn't know Carlos was so attracted to you or attracted to you. Let's get back to this video.
So once again, and it really felt like, I don't know how to explain, but it felt like, we weren't getting anything, and law enforcement was kind of desperate to show that, hey, we're doing something, we're making moves, and they go and detain some innocent dude. It really feels like they were doing too much. Obviously, they did not have the evidence that they needed to bust into this guy's house and to question him and all of that stuff if he's innocent. I don't understand what type of info they had on this guy to make them believe that he had something to do with her disappearance. It doesn't make sense to me. And like I said, it really feels like we're seeing some things happen for show. Like, look at Nancy's house every day. Let's be real. Every day at Nancy's house, law enforcement pops up and they kick around the front yard acting like they're looking for something. All of this stuff that you're seeing happen today and yesterday and the day before that, all of this stuff should have happened on day one. As soon as daylight hit after Nancy was reported missing that morning, all of this stuff should have taken place.
That's true. But police are saying there was no action. No one called to that area or anything. 48 hours went by, they're saying. 48 hours, they're saying. Not sure. Is that true, Miss Debbie Fox? Before police knew anything, it was 48 hours already went by? That would be crazy, right? That would be crazy. Wow.
But now it's like we're watching Nancy's house. They got the live streams going. They got the drones up. And we're watching the house 16 hours a day. Nothing is happening. We don't know anything now that we didn't know basically on day one. And every day, oh my God, law enforcement is back, guys. Oh my.
I agree with Cinnamon Shogun. Everyone's been out there. We're back at Logan. Police are here. Well, I hope so. I hope somebody's protecting that property. I mean, it's been contaminated enough. I hope somebody's there. Are you kidding me? Debbie Fox says Carlos is 31 years old. How old is Dominic? Oh, would that be crazy if Dominic was 31 years old? Yeah, it's pretty crazy if you ask me. I'm eating a Tyson chicken sandwich. Hopefully there hasn't been no recalls on it. If anything does happen to me, I think my mother gave me this box. I think my mother is possessed by one of these crazy local Hispanics or something doing some kind of demonic witchery on my family. Some kind of crazy church cult or something. All right, hold on. Debbie says, oh, yeah, Dominic. I don't know who has a tattoo. I didn't see a tattoo. But over at Gray Hughes's today, everybody was over there talking about tattoos, and I didn't see no tattoo. But you know, if you think about it, I seen no tattoo on you, no tattoo on me. I don't know. I didn't see it. Tattoo you too.
God, the sheriff's department is back. They're back at Nancy's house to kick around the front yard and pretend like they're looking around for things for 45 minutes. Oh my God, they're in the backyard walking in circles again. It's like every day. 12 days nonstop of honed in on Nancy's house. We're all waiting for something to happen, and it's just police come, they kick around a few things, some pizza gets delivered, and that's about it. That's about it. I'm not even fully convinced that law enforcement.
He's talking about the pizza that they delivered to JLR. One of JLR's women fans sent him a pizza right to the house. You want me to just deliver it to one of the reporters, yell out their name, JLR investigates? No, just go up to the front door of a homicide, knock on the door, and deliver the pizza and say it's for JLR. Whoever Melissa is, send me a pizza.
Is really going out there to still search for things in front of Nancy's home. I think that it's just for show. Now, I know they put up a tent today, and maybe they're looking for more blood with the black light. I don't know what in the hell they're doing, but it's something that they should have done the day after Nancy was reported missing, or the day she was reported missing. And to add the cherry on top, when it comes to everything that I just described, to add the cherry on top, these new discoveries of, oh my God, guys, I know nothing's been happening here, and I know that we're kind of withholding any information that we know, but oh my God, we just found the black glove. We just found a random glove. Never mind the fact that we've been in Nancy's neighborhood and at her home searching for 12 days straight. Never mind the fact that we've been at Annie's home in her neighborhood searching for 12 days straight. Today, we just so happened to find the black glove. This may crack the case. No, obviously it was planted there by some asshole. You would have found it by now if it wasn't. As soon as the security footage comes out showing the guy breaking into Nancy's house, or I say breaking into her house, but we don't even know if there was forced entry. At first, it seemed like there was forced entry. There were comments about forced entry. Those comments have been walked back. We don't know how the person got in the house.
Yeah, we don't know. We have no idea what that inside of the house happened. I'll tell you what, if they go in there and there's no blood, but there's blood all over the driveway or all over the patio, front patio, you know, that's going to be interesting. How come we're not seeing photos of her phone, the iWatch, the heart monitor? Why ain't we seeing them photos? Why haven't they released that yet? Have they even got around to it? Good God Almighty, is the whole thing? Is there still a body in the house? They're putting up the tent so they can bring the body out without people seeing it or whatever. I mean, I don't know. You know, there was a video put out not but 3-4 days ago that said they found a body. They found an older woman there, dressed similar to what the description was. But did anybody know what she was wearing that night? They never said what she had a brown blouse on with some khakis and flip flops or whatever, or she had a her pajamas on or who knows? We don't know. I'm sorry, I'm eating a chicken sandwich. Carlos does not have a tattoo on his wrist, but Dominic does. Oh my God. But I didn't see no tattoo in any of these videos. Not one. I didn't see one tattoo in any of these videos. But Miss Debbie Fox is saying Dominic does have one. Debbie, how do you know Dominic's got a tattoo on his wrist? What happened to that lady? What one? She's gone. Hold on, I gotta throw this paper plate out and all these paper towels. Debbie, did you have that hot and honey? Where's that from? Is it from McDonald's? Yeah, it's from McDonald's. Hot honey they got there. Oh, that stuff is spicy. It's good, but it's spicy. All right, let me see what Debbie Fox is saying. Others say they saw it. Yeah, that's what's going on over at Gray Hughes' channel right now. Gray Hughes was, people in his chats were saying, did you see the tattoo on his wrist? And I agree with Mr. Gray Hughes. I don't see no tattoo. People are like, you can see it underneath the sleeve. Well, if there is a tattoo, we can't see it, so it does no good unless you can find photos of suspects that have a tattoo. And then once they do catch the guy, they could say, hey, is there a tattoo on his arm? And they'll say, yeah. But depending on if you can find a photo of them people that are suspects with a tattoo, because years have gone by, folks. Years have gone by. And these photos, they might not have tattoos in 2007, but 2026, they're covered in them. So we don't know. All right, let me see what Debbie Fox is saying. I didn't see a phone nor any tattoos. These people have x-ray eyes. Well, that's some of us do. It was a gift from God, excuse me. Oh, that chicken sandwich was good, Debbie Debs. All right, now let me continue with Debbie. If you want, I can show you a photo of what appears to be a phone in his pocket that people are saying, hey, that's a phone. And now they're saying, well, he did have a phone, but he did not have his phone turned on. But was that even his phone, or was that Mrs. Guthries' phone? And if that's the case, if it was Miss Guthries' phone, there's a good chance that he might not have turned it off, might not have known how to, might have, we don't know. took the phone with him, which left a digital ping, which led them right to Carlos. No, Debbie, what? I saw a gun and a gloves. Yeah, I seen the gun too, but in the beginning, when they first sent me a video, the photo, I didn't see the guy with a gun or backpack. It wasn't till like the second video that they released their photo that you see, oh, wait a minute, is there two of them? But when we looked, you could see in the footage that he just walks away. He's gone for a while. And then it's the same guy. He comes back, but he's wearing a backpack. And then he walks away again and disappears into the dark. And then he comes back again. And he's got a holster, a gun holster, and a flashlight and stuff. So maybe he was trying to make it appear like there was a whole bunch of people there. In reality, it was just one person. Debbie said that she's ordering a pizza with sausage. You know that I just had a chicken sandwich, but I do have a Tombstone pizza, or no, a Jack's pizza in the fridge or freezer. That sounds good. Wait, I misread that. I misread it. I saw those gloves on him so tight they looked like sausages. Nope, it wasn't. Actually, the gloves didn't, his fingers didn't even fill the gloves out. Yeah, I seen a photo of him holding his hand up with the gloves clenched like a fist when he was holding the flowers, and you could see his nails, the impression of his nails and his knuckles and stuff. The glove was actually bigger than his hand. You know, you can get them gloves different sizes, small, medium, and large. So I'm just letting you know that, Miss Boxaroni. Box molder.
We don't know anything. But as soon as that security footage comes out and everyone's talking about, oh, look at his gloves, look at his backpack, the next day, oh my God, look, a black glove is found near Nancy's house. Yeah, right. Come on, folks. Come on. At some point, you have to understand when you're being strung along. And I want to make myself crystal clear here. I am not saying that this story is fake. I know people will say that. That's not what I'm saying. I am not blaming Nancy or Savannah Guthrie or the Guthrie family for what's happening in the media and stuff, okay? I'm not blaming them for this. But we are being strung along. We are being BS'd. There's obvious BS out there that they're pretending that they're taking seriously when they're not. I don't think the ransom stuff is serious anymore. I don't think that black glove is serious. I don't think they're serious when they show up at Nancy's house every day and they walk in circles around the front yard like they're going to find her popping out of a freaking...
Well, my friend Cinema Shogun. Well, you know police lie. You've been covering these cases a long time now. What could they be doing? Well, a diversion, maybe. A diversion? Who knows what they're doing? Magic? Sleight of hand? Did you see a phone? I see something in his pocket, Debbie, that is similar to a phone. See, here's the thing, Debbie. There's been so many photos put out, we don't know if they're real or AI'd or photo op. One photo I did see what appears to be a phone in his pocket, in his right side pocket. But that's when he walks up to the door. Did she have an app on her phone where she can open her garage door from her phone app? Yes, Debbie. Let me pull up and see if I can find something on the phone in his pocket. Hold on a minute. Hold on, Debbie. I'm looking. And Carlos don't have too big of hands, Debbie. I mean, he's got bigger hands, but not that big, really. All right, hold on, Debbie. I'm looking for something. Hold on, let me check my chat. I'm looking for. Show me that picture. It wasn't a picture. It was a video, Debbie. People were showing it. I'm trying to look for the video right now. Hold on. Hold on, Deb. I'm still looking. There's so many videos out now. Holy crap. It's hard to find the one I was watching. Was he ass backward that you all could see in his right pocket? Well, Debbie, when he comes up, the camera is showing his right side. It's showing the right side of him. So he turns, and it does look kind of like a phone. Either it's the phone or the gun in his pocket, in his front jacket pocket. Not the phone wasn't in his pants pocket. I know what you're thinking, that it was in his pants pocket. No, it was hanging out a little bit out of the front right side jacket pocket. You know where you go to put your hands in the front of your jacket, you know, down below by your waist? The phone was somewhat sticking out of that. I can't find the video. There are so many effing videos. You type in anything Nancy's name, Guthries, and it's just you'll be looking all day for them. Hold on a minute. All right, right here. All right, Dad.
Account.
All right, Debbie. I think I found a video similar that you might be able to see. Right there. You could barely see it when he moves. Hold on. I might have to replay the video, but just hold on a minute. You'll see it. It's in the pocket right there. It's right there. Either that's the gun or possibly it is the. It's showing the left side. No, as he's walking up right now, that's his right side. See him walking? That's the right side of his body, which would be the left side if you're looking at the film. But it's actually his right side. Dang it, we missed it. Hold on, Deb. Let me rewind it. Hold on, let me try and stop it when he comes walking up, and then you'll see what everyone's talking about. Oh, right there, little foxy fox. Right here. See that little black slash right there? That's that front pocket. They're saying there's a phone in that pocket right there. You see this black mark? Right before this real thick black mark, which is, I think, the backpack or whatever. But right there is the front pocket of his jacket. And they're saying that black thing right there is a phone. That's what they're saying, that it was a phone that as he keeps walking back and forth, walking around and everything, it comes out a little further. I seen another video where there's more of it exposed. I should download this video or see if I can find a photo of it like this and then zoom in on that area and see if I can see it. But you see the way the guy's holding his hands right now, Debbie? See how he's holding his hands like that? If you watch Carlos, he's always holding his hands like that. In the interview, I'm like, and he's he's trying to take away things from his hands. He's trying to distract you away or something, maybe, but I don't know. I'll see if I can stop it again. Here, hold on a minute. Let's see if I can stop it when he turns away. Oh, right there. Hold on, Deb. Let me back up. Yeah, there it is right there. He's got either it's the gun. Let me see if I can play it in real slow motion. Then we might be able to get it to work. All right, let's try it in slow motion. All right, let me back up. And watch, Debbie, right there. Oh, let me back up a little bit more, Debbie. Debbie, are you watching? No, wait. I'm going to try and stop it. Right there. Right here, you can see it. See it right here, Deb? There's like a bulge in the pocket right here. I think that might be the gun. Maybe the gun, or it is a phone or something, but you can see it right here when he turns, but the way I'm doing this, it won't let me. Oh, can you see it now, Debbie? It's right here. It's in that front pocket. Well, either it's a phone or it's the gun. Yeah, he's got something in his pocket. Now, whether it's a phone or a pistol, I'm not sure. Because you don't see the gun in this photo. Maybe he walks back out there and puts the gun in this front, the holster or whatever in the front of him. This seems all staged or some kind of a crazy thing to me, if you ask me. And look at the backpack. Could it have been a white man that did this, Debbie? Could be. There's some footage out there, people saying they found the guy that did it. And they're showing him walking around at a totally different place with a backpack. And they're like, this is the guy. I don't know. This is pretty crazy. All right, let's see if we can see anything more when he comes back. Now, see, Debbie, the gloves are bigger than his hand because you can see wrinkles in the glove when he's holding the glove up to the camera. So, see the wrinkles in the glove around his fingers as he's clutching it? That shows that his hand was smaller than the glove. I don't know. Either it's the gun or it's the phone. One of the two. It could be the garage door opener, Debbie. Good point. And where would he get a garage door opener? From her car? Because little Mrs. Guthrie did drive herself around town. Now, what's even more crazier is that Mrs. Guthrie, they're saying her car had a broken headlight and the front end was damaged on her car. So was this little lady in an accident? And they tried to make it look like something else. She was kidnapped when really she might have hit something or someone or so. I don't know. This is crazy. Do you want to see that video again, Debbie, in slow motion? You just let me know. All right, play it again, Sam. And that we will in slow motion. Here we go. He lifts his arm. Boom. You see black right there coming out of his jacket. But yet it ain't the gun. Why? Because there's the gun right in the front. We can see it on his pointing down towards his penis. We know this much. The gloves are bigger than his hands because look at all these wrinkles. Look at the way he's holding his hand. My God, it looked like Carlos was talking to people that way on camera. Holding his hands like that, cupped and everything. It was crazy. What are we doing here? I don't know, but he's going to turn here, and then you're going to see he's got stuff in his front pocket. Right? Wait a minute. Right here. He's going to make the turn. Here you go. Boom. Right there. Big bulge in his pocket. The front pocket. And what's in there? Now, Miss Debbie Fox said there's a good chance it could be the garage door opener. And ding, 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 ding. I think this little lady just won a prize. Little lady, you get one night, one day with the great pterodactyl rackle, the pterodactyl himself. She says, that looks black, Johnny. It sure does, but he's got the gun in his front holster. Watch when he comes walking back up. You can see the gun in front of him. So it's not the gun. In his pocket, there's the holster. And then boom, this is fishy. Now this is why we got to ask questions. Why? Because that film just clipped. It just jumped. It just jumped. Someone edited it. How do we know this? Because he's right there. That was an edit. Right there. Edit. And how do we know that? How do we know that? Well, because he goes to turn around. He goes to walk up to the camera. Are you watching this, Debbie? He goes to walk up to the camera, right? He ain't even past the four-way yet. And what happens? The camera goes black. What does that mean? Well, either he ripped the camera out of the wall, but how could he do that when he hasn't even made it to the camera yet? He's walking back in. Now watch. When I go ahead and hit play, watch what happens. It goes black, and then it cuts to him trying to put stuff over the camera. Someone edited it. Debbie, this is the guy they're saying that did it right here. Boy, they're coming up with all kinds of crazy stuff. Ooh, Debbie, hold on a minute. I'm going to show you something, girl. You just hold your horses, little lady. I'm going to show you some more footage of the front pocket. Hold on, little lady. No, you put them chicken pants right back on. We're going to show you right here. Hold on, let me find the footage. They're showing all kinds of footage. Oh, here we go. Aha. Mm-hmm. And what does it look like down here, Mr. Kramer? In the corner here by the door. Well, this looks like the deadbolt, and this looks like the door handle, and this over here in the corner that we can't see because it's away from the oh, look at Debbie. Look at Debbie. Miss Fox, look at here's a photo of him. But see, there's no gun in the front of his pants. Here, there's a gun in front of his pants. You see that? Is that crazy? That's crazy. No, let's continue to go. Let's keep going. This is his face. Oh, and he's got that light in his mouth. But this is his face. It does look like he's got eyeliner on or something. He put eyeliner on around his eyes or something. Debbie Fox says most older ladies carry their phone in their purse. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, is this a reflector? I don't know if that's a reflector or if that could be one of these lights like he's got in his mouth. Now, all that is a ski mask or some kind of a wrestling mask he has on. But there ain't nothing underneath it. There ain't nothing underneath it. All right, let's continue. Hold on, Deb. I'm looking for the photo that they show of him with stuff in his front pocket. All right, this is where they're determining his height. You see this, Deb? Interesting. Interesting. I think that might be lights and not reflectors. They might be lights that are clipped on his backpack. Oh, you just put them chicken pants right back on, Miss Fox. We got a lot of investigating to do. All right, they're saying approximately that arch is anywhere between 5'9" and 5'11". Probably 5'11". So let's see what they're saying. Approximately 4 inches. Spring line, approximately 4.4 minus 8 feet. Shoulder height, 55 inches. So are they saying he was like 5'9" to 5'11" tall? No, we can't believe all that because we've seen them get that wrong before. Remember the Delphi case? How tall was he? 5'9" to 5'11", 250 something pounds, 300 pounds. In the beginning of Delphi, that's what they said. He's no shorter than 5'8". And it turns out when they got Richard Allen, actually 3 of them were short. Brian James Chadwell was 5'6", and also Richard Allen was 5'6" or 5'5" or whatever. And in the video that they put out, a bridge guy in the description, they said estimated height was 5'9" to 5'11". So they got that wrong. So actually, the people that were there might have been someone there 5'9", 250 pounds, the mastermind of it all. But whoever was on camera, they said was 5'9", and that wasn't true. I think both Chadwell and Richard Allen were like 5'4", 5'6", real short. Is he wearing boots? No, Debbie, I don't think so. I think he's wearing gym shoes or like hiker shoes or something. Here, Deb, I'm going to send you this video in Facebook, and you look at the thumbnail. Look at the thumbnail on this video, because it's showing they're zeroed in on his pocket like we are. And you can see that in the video. They're showing it, that they got a circle around his pocket, his front pocket, and they're saying that's either a phone or something. But Debbie, I think you might be right. I think you might be right that it could be the garage door opener. No, his shoes are not flip-flops, Debbie. Debbie said he's got his flip-flops. No. I just don't think it's his phone. I don't think so either. They did say that the killer they think had a phone there with him, but it wasn't turned on. But was that his phone, or was Mrs. Nancy's phone? I'm looking for new videos that are just put out, Debbie. All right, Deb. We're going to check out another video just put out today. Hold on, little Deb. I saw her face. Yeah, I'm a believer. No doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind. Let me take this off slow motion.
Kidnapper raises more questions than it answers. I just finished a news hit for News Nation where we talk about everything from how smart this guy is to how smart he isn't. Now, what do you think the behavior cues in this video tell us? They tell us how smart he is. They tell us how smart he isn't. Personally, I think he's a moron. And I talk about that in this news hit. Let's take a look.
I want to go back to that video and the images of this masked person seen in the archway of Nancy Guthries' house. It is arguably the most important piece of evidence that we have seen so far. And now you have this new reporting from TMZ that says the FBI and local investigators are homing in on 3 specific items worn by this person: the gloves, the backpack, and the gun. Law enforcement sources say they're working to track down who may have bought those things. And they're also curious about the weapon because TMZ claims that the holster appears to be polyester, which is typically used for a revolver, but the weapon looks like a semi-automatic handgun. Also, what is the way this person's dressed, the way they're carrying the weapon, the way they move? What does that all tell us? Because it's all captured on tape. What does that reveal about who they are, how this crime may have been planned, That is where I bring in my two guests, okay? Scott Rouse has trained alongside the FBI, Secret Service, and U.S. military intelligence in behavior and body language. And Steve Wolf is a firearms expert, engineer, expert witness. Thank you both so much for coming on. Scott, I'll start with you. When you watch this video, what stands out to you about the person's behavior and body language?
What I'm looking for in a situation like this are things that are missing. So the first thing I ask myself is what's missing. When we see him walk up, he walks up slow. So his gait is very small. It's a medium to small gait. This lets us know there's no stress. He's not in a hurry. And his head goes down after the camera comes on, he gets to the porch, that head goes down. But that's not turtling. We turtle when we're afraid of something. We're getting ready to shoplift, we're hiding in the crowd, something like that. Our head comes down, our shoulders come up, something that's called turtling because our brain says, we need to hide. We need to get ourselves smaller than this. I think he ducks his head because he's afraid he's going to be recognized by the camera. Now, even though normal robbers don't have that fear of being recognized, for some reason this guy's trying to hide his face as well with that thing. Then this is a guy, this is a man. How do we know that? Because of the way he walks, the way he moves around. Women don't move like that. No, they don't. Then also what's missing are threat checks. He's not doing threat checks. He's not looking around for trouble. He's not looking for passing cars, joggers, dog walkers. He doesn't look for threats outside of that porch. And the only time he looks for a threat is when he steps out and picks up those flowers or weeds or whatever they are, and he steps up to put them over the camera. Which brings us to how smart he isn't, because he's not a problem solver. If he'd thought ahead of time, he would have thought there might be a camera there, or he may have known there was a camera there. I need to bring a piece of duct tape to stick over that. So he didn't think ahead. So I'm under the impression he didn't think ahead about some other little things ahead of time, that he didn't solve those problems. So there's probably a lot of stuff he left behind there as well. Plus the fact the backpack is full. That thing is full. So that could be a tarp. It could be extra clothes. Something he could change clothes when he gets in, so it doesn't look like the same person came as the same person leaving. There could be duct tape, zip ties. And since he's alone, and we know he's alone because he doesn't check anybody, doesn't nod or wave his hand at anybody out in the driveway or the yard or anything, or out in the street, he's going to have something to put the incapacitated person in. I'll phrase it that way. It's one thing if you throw somebody over your shoulder and you walk them out to the car, or if you drag them by their arms out of the car. But if you can wrap them in something, if you can wrap them in a tarp or a huge blanket, that looks different. You're pulling something to the car instead of a body.
That's
Aha. So his backpack is full of maybe a body bag or blanket, a sheet, whatever, where he can wrap it up around his arm and hoist it over his shoulder and carry it out. And that's true. That's true. You know, who does that? Well, landscapers do that. You know, I know when I clean up leaves for people or grass clippings or whatever, I throw a tarp down and then I fill the tarp as much as I can. And then get my hands around it, wrap it around my hand and throw it over my back and carry it out and dump it. So it could be something like that. Landscaper, maybe if he's got stuff in there. But here's the thing, you would see drag marks. Once he hits that gravel outside that four-way there, it's gravel. You would have seen a body being drugged. Debbie said, yep, landscaper, groundkeepers. Yeah, that's what they do. Now, is that what he came to do? I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Now, people are saying, well, he could have clothes in there. He could. That's why it appeared in that last video of a different colored jacket. So maybe he did bring another jacket. And once he got in, when he came out, he wanted it to appear like there was other people there or someone else. Different, you know, another person. Oh, that makes sense. Let's keep watching. Yeah, you're right, Debbie. Maybe.
so interesting. So you go to the idea of sophistication, planning, knowledge. Steve, I'll go to you. You noticed something unusual, right, about the way that this guy was carrying the gun in the holster. What is it?
Yeah, what I noticed is that he's carrying a holster which is designed to accommodate a large revolver, which some of you may have recognized from previous appearances here. And what he's got in there is what looks to be a small semi-automatic. And so if you look at this, is pretty much exactly what the shot looks like when we're looking at the security footage there. Holsters are designed to hold guns securely. This is not made for this, and therefore it would fall right out. And therefore that leads me to think that this is not someone who's accustomed to carrying a firearm. The gun and the holster don't match. And furthermore, he continues to touch the gun with his left hand. People who carry guns for a living or for personal protection routinely know exactly where their gun is. It's secure in the holster, and they don't feel the need to continually touch it to make sure that it's there. So this is indicating, very non-professional behavior with the firearm.
And just a quick follow-up on that, how quickly would he be able to retrieve it easily? Let's say, for example, if Nancy came to the door.
He could retrieve it very quickly if in fact it's a real gun. The way
now that I'm looking at this gun, it don't even look like a real gun. It looks like a pellet gun. Air assault. An air assault gun. An air assault pistol will kill somebody if you're up close to them. That's true. People are like, no, an air assault gun, the new ones of 2026, 25, anything newer than when we were kids back in the 70s playing with BB guns. Today, they're way more powerful. So a air assault weapon can kill you if it's fired up real close to your body. Yeah, it can. It'll definitely hurt you. It'll definitely hurt you. It'll make you bleed a lot. So there's the gun. And the reason he keeps touching it is because he don't have the strap on it going across to lock it in there, even though it's not the right holster. If he would have had the strap on it, then it wouldn't be so loose and falling around. That's why he keeps touching it, probably to keep tucking it down in the holster, because it keeps moving around and almost falling out.
He's wearing it right in front like that. You couldn't drive a car like that. Nobody carries a gun right in front of their crotch like that. You carry a gun, off to on your strong side hip. So it looks like it's there for intimidation, for show, and not necessarily something that he intended to use.
Scott, back to you. Two things. One, your thoughts on the gloves. I know you had a thought about the gloves. And two, does it seem to you, after everything we're saying, this is not somebody who's a career criminal or professional, that there's a sloppy aspect to this?
Yeah, because let's go to that holster again, like what Steve's talking about. You can't drive with that. You can't run with that. You can't fight with it like that. You can't draw proficiently like that. You get out fairly quickly, but you can't. People usually gun enthusiasts, they don't have that happening, And if we look at his blink rate on this, we can see his blink rate when he gets close to the camera, because those bright lights in his eyes are his pupils. That's the light from the camera reflecting off his pupils. There's not a lot of blinking going on. This guy is super relaxed. There's no stress here. That's concerning. I don't think we're looking at a psychopath from the neurological standpoint, but the stress in a situation that should be stressful is very low. He's not worried about anything, which gives me the impression he's got information about that place or that situation, or something has been planned to make sure he's not worried. He's not worried. He doesn't look worried about anything to me at all.
And that looks a lot like the drunk driver in the crash. Right. Who's just not nervous, right? And it's not uncommon when people are going to do something that is fundamentally dangerous.
Let me ask you something. How do you feel knowing there are data brokers out there making billions and billions of dollars from selling people's personal information, most of the time without their consent?
Debbie, my commercial's going. What do you want to say? Yep, I like these guys. That's all she's got. Don't you know, women, them guys get their information from me. When you gonna like me?
2-week free trial. I'll put a link below.
For them to be under the influence of drugs or alcohol.
And let me just, if I get from both of you real quick, I'll start with you. Scott, the 2 pair of gloves, about 20 seconds. Your thoughts on that as we're looking at this video?
Well, I'm under the impression that he's wearing, it sounds crazy, 2 pairs of gloves. Look how fat his fingers are. Look how fat this part of his hand is, and the ball part of his hand. There's too much going on there. Right. It looks to me like 2 pairs of gloves.
And Steve, wearing gloves, carrying a firearm, what should we be thinking about?
Well, wearing 2 pairs of gloves would be make it considerably more difficult to activate a firearm. Right. You know, you've got to be able to get your finger into the trigger guard, and that small semi-automatic that he's got like that, it's really not.
I don't think he has 2 pairs of gloves on. The gloves are bigger than what his hands are. I don't know why they're seeing the wrinkling and stuff, and they're like, yep, 2 pairs of gloves on. That's why it's so tight. And look at his thumb. His hands are so chunky and everything. Well, that's because it's close to the camera. I mean, what size gloves did this guy get? Extra, extra, extra large? I don't think so. One set of gloves. And his hand's smaller than the gloves.
Not, very glove friendly. So yeah. I'm not under the impression that he intended to be able to use that firearm. Listen, rather so much as to intimidate with it.
Yeah, this is an excellent analysis.
Now let's take a look at the full version of this video. And after that, I got a question for you. All right, what did you see? How do you feel when you see that? How do you think he's feeling as he goes through this?
His hands look deformed. I don't know. I don't know, Miss Fox. Here's the new footage of. It was an old guy, Debbie. It was an old guy. That's what they're saying. They have new footage out of some old guy walking through a neighborhood with 2 backpacks. And he's the one that did it. An old man. Did she have a boyfriend? I don't know. I would think 80-year-old, 84-year-old woman. Did she have a boyfriend? An older man that she might have seen in the neighborhood, in the church or something? Maybe. It's possible. I'm not going to throw it off of the table. Miss Debbie Fox is saying his hands look deformed. Yes, Debbie. Let's look at the new footage that's out, Miss Debbie Fox. How they're saying that they found footage of this older man walking.
Conflicting messages, or at least I am conflicted in reading the messages coming from local law enforcement and the FBI. On one, share with you, there is.
All right, Miss Fox, here we go. Hold on a minute. This is the new footage out of, they're saying, is this the killer? This 70-year-old man or whatever. Is he the killer? He's got 2 backpacks in his hand. He's walking in a neighborhood somewhere around there, close to her neighborhood. Let's watch this. Oh, my apartment just creaked. Wonder if we're having an earthquake or someone's sending some kind of a demonic demon to me. Or if they're using kinetic energy weapons on me.
The experts on this. Stay with me for just a moment, guys, because we have brand new video that we want to share with you. There is new video TMZ says is on the FBI's radar in this case. It's being widely discussed online. It was captured at 1:52 in the morning at a home 5 miles from Nancy Guthries' home. You see a man in the video both wearing a backpack and holding a backpack. One of them has reflective stripes, similar to the one worn by the man in the Nest camera video. The man appears to try and open a gate at a residence and is unable to do so. He leaves at 1:53. As a reminder, we have been told by law enforcement that software detected someone on camera at 2:12 a.m. So there would be 19 minutes in between this moment and that moment. And we want to be clear here. The person in this video is not a suspect or subject in any way at this time, but the video is out there and it's getting a lot of attention. So we wanted to address it, and it is being considered by the FBI. All right, let's turn back now to Jay Armis. So I'm trying to add together the timeline. This is 5 miles away from Nancy's residence at 1:50, what did we say, 1:53?
Mm-hmm.
So 1:52 a.m. And we need to put that into the timeline of when we see the video from Nancy's Nest camera footage, which I believe we just stated was at 2:12. Previously, there had been some discussion about 1:47 a.m.
The person in the video that was just shown, he may have been just a random burglar going and doing what they do at 2 o'clock in the morning, going from place to place, trying to see if they can break into cars, break into homes. The person that perpetrated this crime was definitely in a vehicle because he had to be able to remove Miss Guthrie from the location in a vehicle.
Let's go back to Dr. De La Torre. Let's talk about video for just one moment. As I understand it, people have on their front door often a Ring branded camera. In this case, it was a Nest branded camera, which is operated by Google. They can or cannot hook that up to a server, a cloud service. Many of us have that. I'm sure many people watching do. And when you do have that connected to the cloud service, you have the capability of going back and reviewing footage from several days, maybe even weeks in the past. That doesn't seem to be the case here. It seems to be the case that if you do not connect it to the cloud footage, everything is recorded on the local device. So if the perp takes the camera device off of the door, and we've seen the empty holder, he now has basically absolved himself from anything that happens on video afterward, and it's hard to recover what happened before because it's on the device. Now, this is what Google and the FBI were able to do. They were able to go get this video, even though it was supposedly only on the local device, and give us the image that we have. My question for you is, why is that all? If they're capable of getting that, can't they go back further in time and see when was Nancy dropped off at her home? Who walked her, if anyone did, to the door?
Yeah, you would think that they would be able to do it. And I think one of the bigger concerns is there a search warrant in place to get some of that stuff? I mean, when you see something like this, you see that it's shady. But the other elements of who dropped her off, those kinds of things, while they are important, just to kind of fill out the information, it's really not.
Well, who was that old man that was walking around 5 miles away with a backpack? Why was he trying to get rid of a backpack? Was there a group of them that were hitting that area that night? And I don't know, did the murders or the kidnapping occur And this guy that we see walking in the 5 miles away, did someone drop off the backpack to him and say, here, get rid of this? Plant it at some other property so they think they did it, you know? Very interesting. Debbie, what's your thoughts on this?
Necessary for the public to see those kinds of things. It's really only for the investigators. This is just what they've released. This isn't everything that they've said they have in terms of available evidence to them.
And that's very fair. That's very fair. This is what they have chosen to share with the public, which we will say is very little at this time. At the same time, asking the public for help, which is a difficult position to put the public in, quite honestly. If you're looking for help, but limiting the amount of information for the public to be able to help you, you are inherently limiting, are you not, Jay? The public's ability to help you.
Well, I mean, this is the phase of the investigation where they're reaching out to the public to try and provide information to fill in the gaps. They've already gone to the process of obtaining forensics, and they've probably exhausted the tips that they had developed on their own. So now they're reaching out to the public to see if anyone knows. This looks like my coworker. This looks like my brother-in-law. This looks like my landscaper.
You know.
So now the guy, maybe there was two of them. Maybe. Debbie Fox is saying, what the heck? That guy looks like this guy. Well, crazy, ain't it? Ain't it crazy? Now we're looking at the front of the house. So when you come walking out to the driveway, that upper part is like gravel. And then you come down the handrails and it's stone. Flagstone, but what's in the flagstone? Gravel. So what does it look like? Well, I don't know. It looks like there's a drag mark, a big wide drag mark in the driveway a little bit on the one side. Could he have been dragging it out? Maybe that's how the blood was leaking, or was he carrying it out in a bag and she was bleeding or whatever and it leaked out of the sheet or whatever, blanket or whatever? Maybe. Miss Fox, is there anything else you want to say? We're gonna wrap this up here pretty soon. It's 9 o'clock. I need some tea. Been going straight for 83 hours now.
Something I want to ask you both. I'm sorry, Jay. Mm-hmm. There's been this tendency to describe this suspect as, I've even seen some suggestion that he could be slow or lazy and that he's an amateur. At some point, and Dr. De La Torre, I'll go to you first and then we'll finish with Jay. This has been pulled off for 12 days. At some point, we're dealing with one of two options. We're either dealing with the option that this is not an amateur, that this is somebody who did very well in getting away with what is a very high-profile crime for 12 days, or we're dealing with some very massive, embarrassing mistakes by law enforcement. Dr. De La Torre.
I mean, I won't count out the second thing, but here's the first thing. You know, there's certainly possible when I see this video that I see someone who is putting in, you know, they're more relaxed, they're more confident, right? Nothing about this is sort of, you know, overwhelming. It's not distressing to them. They're there to fulfill a mission. They're there to do a thing that they've been convinced themselves to do, which is important for them to do. So there's not a lot of hesitation, right? The steps, the gates and stuff like that, that could just be an awkward step. But what I'm seeing is someone who is ready to go to do this thing.
Whatever this thing may be. And that's the question. Was this a crime of invasion? Was it a property crime? Was it a murder? Was it a kidnapping? Was it a fixer cleaning up a previous crime? Last word to you, Jay. I just think that at some point, as this goes on longer and longer, we're dealing with something. We're either dealing with mistakes by law enforcement or criminals that weren't so bumbling.
You know, that's not necessarily the case. A lot of times you have a bumbling criminal, but they didn't make enough mistakes that the law enforcement can capitalize on. You know, in law enforcement and as investigators, we're always looking for the one mistake that we can use to catch the bad guy.
Yeah.
That one mistake that leads, and that one thread that you pull on and it unravels the entire.
That doesn't hold true. We've always understood. There's even a show named after it, in the first 48.
That's absolutely true.
This guy's pulled it off so far for 12.
Well, what are you thinking, Miss Fox? Makes more sense, Miss Debbie Fox said. I mean, he was wearing Docker pants. I can see a 70-year-old wearing Dockers or wearing those, though. I don't know. The guy that was in the one video was real tall, right? The guy that was carrying two backpacks, he had one on and was carrying one in his hand. He seemed taller, right? Because he was reaching over the fence, right? I mean, if I have to replay that video, Miss Fox, he was reaching over the fence trying to unlock the door. So you would have to be kind of tall to do that. And there was garbage cans right next to them. Let's take a look at that video real quick again, Miss Fox. Hold on a minute. Let me see. I know there's supposed to be new footage of this guy. Excuse me. Excuse me, Miss Fox. All right, I want to get to something. Here's a video that just came out that said this is why a tent was set up for the Nancy Guthrie investigation. Okay, here we go.
Same morning.
New video, we are told, is on the FBI's radar in the Nancy Guthrie case. And it could be important, but we know it is in play.
Breaking news that just emerged minutes ago. A neighbor's Ring camera captured footage from the same night Nancy Guthrie disappeared. And what it shows is raising critical questions. TMZ obtained this video, neighbor's property, approximately 5 miles from Nancy's residence in the Catalina foothills. February 1st, 1:52 a.m. Same morning, Nancy disappeared. The timestamp matters because we already knew Nancy's Nest camera disconnected at 1:47 a.m. Software detected someone at her door at 2:12 a.m. Do the math. Gate.
Debbie, I really think the blood was there, or most of it was there. Up, you know how when you see real close, he's up to the door, real close to the camera. If you look on the ground right there, you could just see what looks like blood already there on the ground. How did that get there? How did that get there? That's my question. Let's rewind that because it shows him
but we know it is in play.
Breaking news that just emerged minutes ago. A neighbor's Ring camera captured footage from the same night Nancy Guthrie disappeared.
Now, this guy's got jeans on, Debbie, and it's a green jacket. It's a green jacket. It looks like it's got a hood on it. Also got a hood, I think.
And
yeah, it's got a hood on it. This backpack is black. The other one is a greenish color, but it looks to be canvas, not like nylon or whatever that shines at night.
what it shows is raising critical questions. TMZ obtained this video, neighbor's property, approximately 5 miles from Nancy's residence in the Catalina foothills. February 1st, 1:52 a.m. Same morning, Nancy disappeared. The timestamp matters because we already knew
Debbie, I believe that's the blood that we're seeing already. When he comes first walking up, he comes all the way to the door, right by the camera, and you can look down, and that's what we're seeing. So how did the blood get there all the way in that corner next to the door before he comes walking up?
Nancy's Nest camera disconnected at 1:47 a.m. Software detected someone at her door at 2:12 a.m. Do the math. Gate at 1:52, door at 2:12, 19 minutes, 5 miles. That time frame fits for vehicle travel between these locations. And that backpack, CNN identified the one at Nancy's door. Ozark Trail Hiker Pack, Walmart's private brand, around $11. This new footage? Man's carrying and wearing 2 backpacks. One has reflective straps. TMZ reports it's unclear if the reflectors are on the shoulder straps or the side, but the similarity is significant enough that law enforcement sources told TMZ the FBI is investigating.
There is new video, we are told, is on the FBI's radar in the Nancy Guthrie case. And it could be important, but we know it is in play. This video was shot at 1:52 in the morning at a home 5 miles from Nancy Guthrie's house.
All right, we're going to end this here pretty soon. I want to look again at the color.
52 in the morning at a home 5 miles from Nancy Guthrie.
All right, Debbie, right there. That is like I would say that's like a green color. I would say that's a green backpack because that's blue. The garbage can is blue. I would say that's like a green, olive green color. I would say the jacket is an off green color or something like that. But look at on the side of it, Debbie. It's got pockets like army jacket pockets, them big giant pockets so you can put clips of ammo in them. Now, is it possible this guy could do it with a car? Yeah, it's possible. And he changed clothes? Possibly. But this guy is white. And he's real tall. Why do I say that? Because this is a fence here. A privacy fence. And he can put his arm over it. And that's what he's trying to do, unlock the fence. So I would imagine he'd have to be pretty tall.
Guthrie's house. You see a man in the video, both wearing a backpack and holding a backpack. The backpack that he is holding has reflective stripes similar to the backpack that the kidnapper was wearing at Nancy's door. It's unclear from the video exactly where those reflective stripes are located, but they are reflective stripes. And we know and reported yesterday that this is a Walmart backpack.
That's an old man with gray hair. It's an old man with gray hair. Who went to that church? Who also was online? And did Mrs. Guthrie have a boyfriend?
Which is fairly common. The man appears to try and open a gate at a residence, and he is unable to do it. So he leaves at 1:53. Now, timing here is critical. When you listen to the FBI last week, they said that Nancy's doorbell was disabled at 1:47. Our law enforcement sources directly connected to this case tell us that the video that they retrieved showing the kidnapper at Nancy Guthrie's door, that video was actually 2:12 a.m. Notice that when the FBI released it, they didn't give a timestamp. They didn't say when it was. But we are told by law enforcement sources it was 2:12 a.m. Where you see the kidnapper. That's the video that was retrieved. So now think about this. If the kidnapper is at Nancy's door at 2:12 a.m., and this person in this other video 5 miles away left that home at 1:53, there would be 19 minutes that person has, if that person is the kidnapper, and I stress if, 19 minutes to drive 5 miles, put on the disguise, and walk up to Nancy's door. Now, I want to really make this clear. We don't know this is the kidnapper. We do know this is something the FBI is actively looking at to determine if there's any connection. So that's why the face is blurred. We don't know it's him, but we know the FBI is looking at that.
Here's why that matters. Ozark Trail is only sold at Walmart. Walmart stores typically have surveillance cameras at registers. Credit card purchases leave names. Cash transactions can be traced through store footage. If those backpacks match, the FBI can trace purchases in the Tucson area. Cross-reference buyers with other investigative leads. You narrow the suspect pool dramatically, but let's address what we don't know. Because this matters. We don't know if this man is connected to Nancy's case. We don't know if the backpacks are identical. We don't even know if he approached other properties that night. What we do know, law enforcement sources told TMZ the FBI is lasering in on this man. That's not casual language. That indicates active investigation with dedicated resources. Think about the pattern for a second. 1:52 a.m. tries neighbor's gate, fails. 1:53 a.m. leaves. 2:12 a.m. someone's at Nancy's door. Succeeds if these incidents are connected. This wasn't targeting Nancy specifically. This was someone testing properties in a 5-mile zone, looking for the easiest entry. The neighbor's gate locked, couldn't breach it. Nancy's home? Got in. This pattern is consistent with what investigators call opportunistic target selection, hunting for vulnerability in a geographic area you know well. Someone familiar with that zone lives there, works there, knows which streets connect, which routes avoid traffic cameras, That detail changes how investigators approach this. Here's something investigators did that seemed strange at the time. They asked neighbors to check cameras for January 11th, 9 p.m. to midnight. That's 3 weeks before Nancy disappeared. Why? Authorities are looking at whether someone was surveilling the area, pre-planning, scoping properties for weeks, studying patterns, identifying vulnerabilities.
Well, if it's not the same guy, then it's possible it's some kind of a criminal ring where a whole bunch of them were scoping out houses. That does happen. Right? They go to different areas and they see who they can, and they might communicate with each other through radio or a phone. But is it possible 5 miles away, they were trying to rob someone in that town or find someone they can rob, a house open or something like that? Yeah. Yeah, and someone on the other side of town is doing the same thing. Yeah. All right, folks, we are going to end this. We're at 3 hours. I might be back later with more on this case. I want to thank everyone for watching. Miss Debbie Fox, have a great night. Get some rest. I know it's been crazy and wild. For the rest of you out there that are diehard crime fans, and we might be back with more information tonight. You folks have a good night. God bless, and talk to you later.